Why meditate? What is the purpose? What is the aim? Just the fact that you're here wanting to learn this practice, or perhaps to improve your practice if it's something that you're already engaged in, you probably already have some reason, some motivation. And generally, when it comes to engaging in anything in life, there's usually some reason why we do it. Some people take an interest in meditation because they'd like to be more calm and relaxed, less reactive, less prone to stress and anxiety and agitation, to be more at peace, to be more content. Or perhaps you'd like to have more clarity, to be more focused, more attentive, and less easily distracted. Or it may be that your interest is of a more spiritual nature, to be liberated from suffering and illusion, to connect more deeply with spirit, or to realize the nature of the self, to be self-realized. Whatever your motivation happens to be, and it could be some combination of things, it's best not to be too attached to any particular expectation, to any particular outcome, because this actually makes it much more difficult to practice. We're always waiting for something to happen, which means that we're not being present in our practice. Maybe it's the culture we live in, or maybe it's just something about human nature, that whatever we do in life, we do in order to gain something or to achieve some result, some kind of outcome. But with meditation, the aim is just to be present, and there's really nothing more to it. As for the outcome, there are many things which can result from this practice. Any of those things that we just mentioned can result from this practice. And it's natural that we're going to have some kind of desire or expectation in regard to the practice, in regard to what might come as a result of it. And this is fine. At some level, this is what initially motivates us to take up the practice and to stay consistent with it. But once we actually sit down to practice, we need to let all of that go. We need to let go of any desire or expectation. We need to let go of any goal and just be present with the practice. The aim is just to be present in the moment with no concern for the future. And notice that I use the word aim because goal implies something to be arrived at in the future, at some later point in time. And to be moving toward a goal means moving away from the present moment. Whereas aim simply means where we direct our attention. And in this practice, we direct our attention to whatever is occurring right here in the present moment. When we go into this practice with some kind of goal, whatever that may happen to be, let's say that your goal is to be more calm and relaxed, because at the moment you may be feeling a bit restless or agitated. And because we're set on achieving some other experience, we're avoiding whatever we're experiencing in the moment, and thus avoiding the moment itself. And as long as we aren't allowing our attention to rest here in the present moment, we don't ever experience the sort of peace or relaxation that we've set out to experience. In fact, the more that we try to get away from this moment, the more we tend to find ourselves increasingly agitated. Whereas the more that we relax into this moment and to allow space for whatever we happen to be feeling, the more relaxed we find ourselves to be as a result. And so, this is another reason why many people find this practice difficult. This is why many people give up quickly, feeling frustrated and discouraged, because they have a goal in mind. They have some kind of expectation. They've set out to achieve some kind of outcome, which takes them out of the present moment. So again, having some expectation can be the thing that motivates us to practice, but it can also get in the way of the practice. And so we need to not be attached to any expectation. And what we can do rather than expect is to just be open, which is to say, open to the possibility that this practice may result in some particular outcome, but also open to the possibility that it may not. Or we might expect that this practice is likely to result in some particular outcome, like a feeling of relaxation. But we're simply going to leave that to happen naturally, all on its own, all in its own time. We don't know when that might occur. We don't even know for certain that it will occur. And we certainly shouldn't put any sort of time frame on it. That is, we shouldn't be eager about it, because just that eagerness itself is creating agitation. And anything which is creating agitation is not going to contribute to a feeling of relaxation. We might think of it like a seed that we plant in the soil. And once the seed is planted, you can't see it. You don't know what's happening. Is it germinating? How long does it take to germinate? We don't know. And you can't go digging it up to find out, because every time you do that, you disturb and disrupt the process. You may actually slow its growth or damage it so much that it doesn't grow at all. So it's better to just plant the seed and let it take its natural course. In the same way, we might have some idea in mind of what this practice may result in. And this is what has motivated us to take it up. But we don't know how long it's going to take for this to develop and mature. So we just plant the seed and leave it to develop on its own. That is, we let go of the desire. We let go of that expectation. We don't try to force anything to happen. We don't push it or poke at it or dig it up to see how it's coming along. The only thing we do is consistently nurture it. So this means you have to water the seed. Otherwise it won't develop. And you have to water it consistently so that it doesn't dry up. So in the same way, we take up this practice and we stick with it, even though we may not be seeing anything happening. But essentially, we need to not be concerned with the growth. We let that happen naturally on its own. And we only concern ourselves with the watering. That is, we only concern ourselves with the practice and not with the fruits of the practice. And so the practice is very much about letting go of any thought in regard to the future and just resting our attention here in the present moment.